we also had another one where he was just talking to Matt. We'll check this one out.
Exciting news. We've got a brand new Daggerheart book coming out. What
Quiet.
is the name of this book and what is inside it?
Yeah, we we're releasing a follow-up to Core Daggerheart called Hope and Fear. It is our first major expansion to the game system that incorporates a whole bunch of ideas we had even as we were developing Core Daggerheart, and then as just a massive reaction to how many people fell in love with Daggerheart like we did and wanted more. We were like, well, let's go, let's make it. And so, yeah, Hope and Fear is us just kind of running with the momentum of our excitement beyond just the core release and creating this next extensive expansion of wonderful things for us all to play with.
What has that momentum been like? Because it's only really been a couple of months since Daggerheart released.
LOL.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. Yeah, we were. You never know how something's going to do in this industry, and in any industry really. And so we had our hope, but we were being responsible with it and hoping for the best, and putting our best.
I think they used the Candela performance as a basis for the Daggerheart sales originally. And I'm like, that's not the best thing to use because that's so different from Daggerheart. Like, Daggerheart is just general fantasy, which will always sell better than spooky, Now, if you do the general fantasy first and then do the spooky stuff, I think you're good. Which seems like kind of what they're doing. Like, the second book has the more dark class, the more darker fantasy classes.
Put forward, and we were overwhelmed by the response, and been desperately trying to keep up with it and learning a lot of lessons through it. But it more or less just gave us that much more excitement and drive. It was a permission from the community to be like, no, you're safe to keep doing this, keep making more, and these are the things we love about it, the things we'd like to see little tweaks on. It was a wonderful kind of feedback loop of just positive.
Which also, it is smart to ensure that there's a want for the stuff before you just balls deep all in on it. You know what I'm saying?
Reinforcement and further galvanizing our concept of what this game could be. So yeah, it was just very inspiring, and we've just been sprinting ever since.
What was the most important thing to capture in this book, and what's the overview of what people are going to find in here? Because I get the sense there's something for players, for game masters, for everyone.
Oh yeah, so this book is going to be, from a player-facing standpoint, just in its own right, so just an extension of so many more player options you can utilize. We have a series of new classes using both existing domains and a new Dread domain that we're including with this book that has been just so fun to develop. I kind of did a very early version of it many months before even the core game was finished being designed, and the team has just taken it and ran with it in such an incredible way. And with that, we have the Warlock and we have the Witch classes. We also have archetypes like a pugilist fist fighter, classic monk type archetype with the brawler class, and we have the assassin. Very much differentiating a lot of classic concepts of what people expected a rogue to be, which is kind of a catch-all. Now we get to kind of have that delineation between the two. It makes them both unique within Daggerheart. So on top of all that, we also have a new series of ancestries that players can choose from with their characters as they're creating them.
Elemental
we have a bunch of communities
ends
that even further expand how they can kind of pair that with ancestries to uniquely tailor the type of character they want to play in Daggerheart.
I like the communities as well, because I like the communities that are a little more not just like, oh, you're from this area, so it's like more about the way the area operates. Like in the new ones, I think they have like the Warborn, the Freeborn or whatever. Like, I like those because it's more like a situation. It's not necessarily an environment. It's not the mountains, the hills, the woods. It's any place, but it was a situation that I was raised in.
We have 6 transformation cards, which are...
Transformations are really cool. We've used, from the Void, we used Demigod in a regular campaign for like a boon. They killed a giant eagle, and so they roasted it as a sacrifice. Some dumb stuff. But I was like, you know what? They just dropped these transformations. You have, this was like Tuglo, you know, Emus, which is like the god that she's kind of vibing with. He's like, Emus gives you a boon. You can keep it for yourself or give it to someone else. And it was the demigod thing. And so Tuglo gave it to Asterius. And so, because we had talked the week before about Tug, real Tug, human Tug, was like, yeah, I don't know what to spend my hope on. I was like, dude, remember, you can give people advantage. Just spend that hope, give them that advantage. And he's like, okay. And then literally the next time I'm like, oh, you get this boon that when people get advantage, they get a D10 instead of a D6. He's like, I'll keep it for myself. And I'm like, oh, are you sure? No, I didn't say, are you sure? But I was like, you can if you want to. But then it like clicked and he was like, wait, I can give this to Baguette or Az. And then I can give him advantage all the time because I have nothing else to spend my hope on. Because Asterius is the tank, but he's a ranger. So his tank ability, he has like one of the armor beetles. He needs his hope for his beetles. So he probably couldn't give Tuglo advantage as much as she could give him advantage. And then there's a Age of Umbra one shot on my YouTube called Dead Men Walking, where essentially they get infected by the Umbra, and they were using the is it reanimated? I think it's reanimated. They were using the reanimated transformation for that session. So essentially I was just killing them as much as possible, and they would just do the roll, you know, if hope's higher, they get that back. If fear's higher, for the transformation, for the reanimated, you mark a health out, and you can still revive. And so they were essentially just popping back up after I'd kill them. It was really fun.
New facets of power sets and detriments that can be introduced to a character in their journey, whether it be a creation or through the narrative that the GM wants to introduce to it. All these are things that we've introduced to the Void, which has been kind of our public-facing kind of playtest space to see what things resonated with people, and we could help use the community to get them to their best place before we go ahead and try and incorporate into any content. And so the feedback from the Void, as well as just the kind of over-exuberance of the community's excitement in what Daggerheart can do, led to us creating Hope and Fear. From a GM-facing standpoint in this book, we are also doubling the number of adversaries that you can utilize in your campaigns.
Yes. Thank God. Which, I mean, I'm not complaining. I have no problem reskinning stuff, but it is nice to have more inspiration and more templates to put the skin on. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things don't quite fit, and you may not quite have enough time to go through all this stuff, and like, you know, it's easy enough to say that, like, I'm trying to think of an easy one. Well, I mean, like there's an elemental spark, and it's an elemental minion. An elemental minion, and it's obviously a spark, so it's electricity. but you could call it an elemental flare, and then run it the same and just change the flavor text to fire. And it's super easy, but some stuff, it's like, if it's more, it's like, I want this specific thing that's not in there, and you're looking through adversaries and nothing quite clicks, and then you have to kind of settle on something. It's always good, like, you know, like you said, if there's double the amount of adversaries, there's more stuff to pull from.
Slew of new abilities, ways to engage with adversaries, and how to utilize them in the game from a GM standpoint. We have a whole.
And the other good thing is, not only, I assume, we're going to get a lot of new features for adversaries too. Because like whenever I'm homebrewing adversaries, a lot of times I will pull up the adversaries list, like on the SRD or something, because it's easy to, they have a lot on one page. It's easy to skim through. But I'll go through there, and instead of like trying to come up with whole new things on my own, I'll just try to find features that kind of match what I already want, change it up a little bit, boom. Like in my campaign frame conduit, I've done the mech adversaries, and that's what I did. I just went through the SRD, found stuff that kind of fit what I wanted, changed wording, maybe changed a few things about it, and boom. Works good. And having more adversaries means you have more stuff to pull from to do that.
Whole slew of new environments for you to incorporate in your campaign, and all the, like a lot of GM-facing things in this, you can use them as you wish, just straight from the book. You can kind of piecemeal and tailor together through inspiration, ways to combine them and make something wholly new, or just kind of continue to teach you with this, and as well as our homebrew kit that we released on our website, how to just create your own shit in Daggerheart. So this book is definitely doubling
Create your own shit
pretty much a
in
lot of the content that the core game made available to the community, and just giving a plethora of new options to expand your worlds, to expand your character, and just kind of excitedly make this game that much more epic.
And a really wild bunch of adversaries.
Yeah, a very far-reaching number of adversaries.
You hit every genre.
Well, that's the opportunity. We felt like the core game had to very much kind of hit on the
This is what I was talking about earlier. What he's about to say right here.
expectations. Well, that's the opportunity. We felt like the core game had to very much kind of hit on the expectations of a heroic fantasy, RPG. And now that we can kind of comfortably have settled into this, I say, as we're like sprinting forward at the same time, now we have the opportunity to just share how much breadth there can be in the themes and genres that Daggerheart can provide. Along with that, we also have a shit ton of new items, equipment, weapons, magical accessories. Just, we want to just show people more things that they can use as tools in the game, and hopefully inspire them to create their own.
It's an everything book. It's really great. Now, we do need to make the point, the Blood Hunter is not going to be in this. 2 weeks of playtest time is not enough.
No. The Blood Domain and the Blood Hunter were things that I've been thinking of for a while, but it's about finding the right place for it as well as the right time. By the time we even got it to a glimmer in the void's eye to the community as like a Halloween drop, it was more or less a hope for future content, I'll say. Hope and Fear was already chugging along for quite some time, and I think we have some ideas in where
it's been chugging along for quite a long time. I think people, especially when it came to the Daggerheart and Campaign 4, people forget how long it takes to plan out some of this stuff that these guys do. Because there was an interview or something I remember where specifically they said something about, I think it was Brennan saying that when they had already approached him for Campaign 4 to start preparing for Campaign 4, he was already doing that before Daggerheart ever released. So like this guy was creating this whole world with this specific scheme in mind, like this specific game system will be used for this. And people were like spazzing out about it. It's like, I get it, you wanted Daggerheart to be the game, but they didn't know Daggerheart was going to do good. It's like, well, they should have used it anyway. They should have stand by their product. And it's like, just because they don't use it in the campaign doesn't mean they think it's bad and they're not standing by it. It's literally the good business move is to use D&D because it's what you've been using. There are tons of people who couldn't care less about Critical Role. They just want to watch people play D&D. And so, you know, you'd lose a lot of people switching systems abruptly like that. Maybe Campaign 5. They'll switch it up to Daggerheart. Who knows?
Might live in the future. So we've got a number of things cooking, and I think it'll. All goes well. We have an idea for the perfect home for it. D&D is one shot many years ago, and trying.
I am actually going to skip this.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and once again start from scratch and make knowledge and inspiration.
That's a type of fantasy of its own that you were able to capture with the Blood Hunter.
Yeah. Or we wanted to further expand on or come up with since we got to show you more of what we can do and what you can do, and yeah, I hope people like it.
I think people are going to be very, very excited for this
really
book.
Proud.
Yeah, I've been watching The Void very closely, and I'm very excited. Yeah. So that's fantastic. If you want to continue to support videos like this, like, subscribe,
Todd
hit the
Kendrick.
bell notification, comment. I also have a Patreon, which makes these videos possible. Using that Patreon, I'm able to fly down to LA and conduct interviews, go to conventions, and afford the gear required to make interview content like this. So if you want to support more video content like that, fantastic. Thank you for your support. I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching.
Thank y'all for watching. A little dive into kind of what's coming in Hope and Fear. Super excited for it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure to leave a like and sub to get more information as stuff comes out. I'll try to put it out as soon as I can. But again, thank you for checking it out. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.